Hello everyone, another weekly update as I'll be away this weekend on a CU weekend away, so I won't be able to complete any work or video on my next update. I want to talk today about kind of motivation and focus. Um, the beginning of this week, I had a great day, in the evening. I did work. In the morning, I got up early, I fixed my sleep, I kind of went to bed early, got up early, and it felt really productive. I had a good focus session. People talk about deep work, all that nonsense. And then that same day, I went to bed really late. Uni's like just hanging out with your mates, and that messed up my next day, and it kind of put me in a slump. And then I didn't feel very productive, and I didn't do much work, even though I'd gotten ahead the day before. It felt like, you know, I'd done worse. And I think one thing that's important to remember is to not try and complete everything possible every single day. You have a life to live. This burnout exists. So I took things one step at a time. So let's talk about what I've done successfully this week. So I have been able to do some early morning work focus sessions, which has been cool. I went to a talk by BNP Paribas quantitative trader who started off in FX sales and trading desk, and then moved on to a more quantitative side. And I got some really good information from him. So the key takeaways were Python and R are essential. R being the statistical programming language. Luckily, I'm doing a module in that next term, so that'll be interesting to see. I'll gain some more understanding and see if I can develop a project on that. And even on just a regular trading desk at one of these big firms, they use it every day, and so you need familiarity. It's not going to cut it anymore. So I'm glad that I'm doing work on Python, and that's one thing I want to talk about this week. CS50P. I've managed to finally get going with that. I did a lot of work on my course, mathematical programming. Managed to getting familiar with SymPy, NumPy, and it's all starting to come together a bit more. And I'm ready to work up onto a project, I think. The second takeaway was that when you're applying to these things, you need to know your markets. You need to have genuine opinions. He says the amount of people who come to him with insane technical ability, they do amazing in their interviews, but then can't come up with any ideas about the market. He asks them, what do you think is going on right now in this sector that you've applied for? Maybe it's Asia, continental, or some sort of FX rates, credit, something like that, and they've got no opinions. So I think it's going to be useful going forward to keep on top of the news, just have a genuine interest. I'm quite somebody who enjoys the geopolitics and that sort of influence on the market, so I'll be keeping that up. If your university has a free newspaper, something like that, WFS, Work Finance Society, runs a markets talk. So I'll be trying to go to that to have a listen to some people who've done proper research on upcoming events. And also, Warwick here gives us free access to Financial Times and The Economist, which I read too often in the lectures. Next thing going forward was also when you're applying, just building a story. He says he loves to see, and they love to see, how you have come to them. What's made you get there? And it just really helps your application and ties it together. He says AI and applications. He reviews so many resumes just before he left, and he said it's just awful. You can just tell, and it's got no personality, and they all end up looking the same. So honestly, stand out, be personable, and write what you genuinely think. Obviously, put useful things in your CV, but tie it together. Yeah. So the second thing, in general, was the URSS, which is the undergraduate research scheme. And I sent an email last week to my tutor in maths, and we had a little meeting. He told me that I should get in contact with some professors to talk about what I want to do, and if they, obviously I'm very busy, that I should try and get into contact with some postdocs or PhD students, maybe if I want to do that as well. I went to a poster fair on it this Wednesday to see previous posters, chat to some second, third years, even fourth years who did some really interesting things. And so I managed to get some photos, note down who they'd done their projects with, and I'll be emailing this week. I've already sent out 3. I don't want to get like a really good response from someone and then like get more good response from people and have to kind of turn them down. So I'm doing them kind of 3 at a time batches when I get people saying, "Oh, sorry, I'm busy, can't do that," or my theme doesn't really match your general ideas. So that's what I've been doing. And I got some great advice. I think it'd just be so good in terms of if I don't do an internship, or I just get some maths research skills, building models. That'd be really awesome. And then spring week update. I've applied to a few more, done a few more. These psychometric tests, man. These assessments that genuinely like disguised as they're pretty much IQ tests. And it's quite demotivating sometimes. You're writing these cover letters just to get a test, and you know that probably your cover letter is not even going to get read, and you spend time on that. I try not to AI mine. I do some research on the firms, and it feels like it means nothing. And this whole like ecosystem of tracker is so frustrating because everyone's on it now, and it's never ending. But I think they're coming to a slowdown with what's coming out. So I got to HSBC round 2, which is nice. I did the job sim, and I did the Deutsche assessment this week. Did some other ones, just kind of long. And then, yeah, coding. I've just been really enjoying that, and that's mostly what's up with my week. So I'm going to try and keep up on top of the Zetamac, because he told us that some segments really do rely on their mental maths a decent amount, just in terms of being quick and holding numbers and thinking what trades you manage to do throughout the day. But ideally, I'm going for a more quantitative side, so computers should be able to do that for me.